Welcome to the 8th grade Math Homework Helper Series. Tonight's homework is V1, Volume of Cylinders. We'll start by taking a look at question 1C. We need to find the volume of the cylinder and give our answer to the nearest tenth and in exact form. We'll talk about what exact form is in a second. First, let's look at the formula that we're going to be using for actually all the problems that we're doing tonight. And that is volume, or V, equals pi r, which is radius, squared, times h, which is height. So it's volume equals pi r squared times height, or V equals pi r squared times h. If we take a look at the drawing that we have, the information that we're given on our cylinder is that the height is 5.2 feet, and then we have a dotted line that makes it across the entire top of the cylinder. When we have a line that crosses the entire top of the cylinder, that isn't our radius, that's actually the diameter. And the way that we find the radius is that we take half of the diameter. So the radius should come from the center point to an outer edge. And since the diameter of this particular cylinder is 1 foot, we know that the radius is going to be half that, or 0.5 feet. So knowing that our radius is 0.5 and our height is 5.2, we can plug that information into this formula, and that's going to look like this. So we have V equals pi times 0.5 squared times 5.2. Now, to get the exact answer, we ignore pi for a moment and simply multiply 0.5 to the second power times 5.2. And what that's going to get us is 1.3, and then we can take pi and pull it back in, and we have our answer would be 1.3 pi. The implication is that 1.3 is multiplied times the full value of pi, and that would be the answer. To get the rounded answer, we have to go through a couple of steps. We need to plug all this information into the calculator. So you're going to have pi times 0.5 to the second power times 5.2. And we need to show what's known as FCD, or full calculator display. And when you do that, you're going to get 4.08407045. And with this information, we can then get the rounded answer, which works out to be 4.1 feet cubed. So based on that, we know that the volume of this cylinder is 4.1 feet cubed. Let's now take a look at question number 5. For question number 5, it says a cylinder with a height of 10 5/8 feet has a volume of 140 feet cubed. To the nearest tenth of a foot, what's the radius of this cylinder? So once again, we've been given, and I did a quick drawing of that here, even though one wasn't necessarily provided. I think it's a good idea to do that for yourself. Helps make sure that you understand what you've been given and what you actually need to find. So in this case, we've been given the actual volume of this cylinder as 140 feet cubed, and the height as 10 5/8. Now, I thought it would be easier to do this working with decimal, so I plugged 10 5/8 into the calculator, hit F to D, fraction to decimal, and got 10.625. If you don't have access to a calculator that can easily do that, you can convert this into a mixed number. 10 times 8 is 80, plus 5 is 85 over 8. Divide that with any calculator, and you're still going to get 10.625. Okay, knowing now that we have the volume and we have the height, we can plug that information into this, and it's going to look something like this. We have 140 equals pi r squared times 10.625. If we divide out 10.625 on both sides, we're going to wind up with 13.17647059 equals pi r squared. We can then divide by pi on both sides, and if you put this number in, or still have it in your calculator, and hit divide and the pi symbol, then what you're going to get is 4.194200853 equals r squared. Now keep in mind, in order to find the value of this, to remove the squared part, we have to get the square root of this number. And so if you hit the square root symbol on your calculator and then plug this number back in, you should get 2.0479748818 equals r. From there, we can say, since if we rounded this, The 4 isn't big enough to make the 0 turn to a 1, so it's essentially 2. That this symbol means approximately. So r, the radius, is approximately 2 feet. And then we can write a sentence to explain that. The radius of the cylinder is about 2 feet. And let's look at the last question on the homework tonight. Question number 6. The volume of a can is 98 inches cubed, and the radius of the can is 4.4 inches. Find the height of the can. So here we have a quick diagram again. Radius being 4.4 inches, volume being 98 inches cubed. For step 1, we want to take this information, plug it back into our formula of volume equals pi r squared h. So we have 98 equals pi times 4.2 squared h. If we divide out 4.4 squared on both sides, that's going to work out to be 5.061983471 equals pi h. Then we divide by pi on both sides, and that's going to give us 1.611279383 equals h. From there, we can round and we can say that h is approximately 1.6. And we put that into a sentence. The height of the can is about 1.6 inches. Please use the problems that were done for you tonight to help you to solve the additional problems that are on your homework. And remember, the key to success in math is not only working hard, but working smart.